morning, BookTube. It's Monday morning. Uh, Wet, cold, dig into your bones type of day here in Vermont. Wind and the rain have knocked a lot of the foliage down. This is one of the big attractions up here this time of year. Um, Still a lot of tourists on the road, though. I can drive up and down the interstate and somewhat on the back roads to see more out-of-state plates than I see Vermont plates. So that's good for our economy, for sure. I've been working on Preptober. Myself and quite a few other people on BookTube have a little bit of a Voxer group going, which I have not had a chance to participate in much yet, but I hope to. Preptober is when you get your ducks in a row for NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. So October, preparation. November, 1,667 words a day. I'm guessing that's about 4 pages. So all the work, all the preparatory work you can have done, the more of you have done, the better. So I've been listening to the Voxer conversation, even though I haven't been participating much. And I've been watching some of the Preptober videos. And I went with the CAT beat sheet. It's used by, so the Save the Cat beat sheet was originally developed by Blake Snyder to help screenwriters plot movies, but it works just as well with graphic novels and, of course, novels. It breaks down the 3-act structure into small, specific sections, sometimes just one scene long. Each section pushes your story forward in its own way. So as a tool to map out my story, this is what I've been using. I doubt very much. I mean, I've seen Matt Wall on the Paperback Junkie put the screen up. And you can't see that, so I don't even know why I'm bothering. So that you could follow along. I'm not that technically savvy. I guess I could figure it out. But if I spend all my time doing that, I won't spend any time writing. But what I'm writing is, the title of it's Norumbega, and it's a space opera type of thing. So, so at the end of NaNoWriMo, you should have 50,000 words in the month of November. And for a space opera, that's going to be about halfway through. So I was doing a little bit of math. If I could maintain that pace, oh, here, I've got it right here. Let's see. So if it would take me 45 days if I did that, kept that pace up, to have 110,000 words, which is where you want to. That's sort of a minimum for a space opera, I guess. Who knows where these numbers come from? I'm just going off what I hear. So, so I divided up the plot percentage-wise. Scene 1's 20%. Act 1, I mean, is 20%. Act 3 is 20%. And Act 2 is 60%. So Act 1 and 3 is about 22,000 words, and Act 2 is about 33,000 words. So that seems balanced. So now I've been filling in, okay, who are the characters? What is the conflict? What is a little bit of world building? Ways to go on that. Not a lot of time. So mapping it out on this Beat the Cat thing, or the CAT beat sheet, or whatever you call it. I've really got Act 1 pretty much under control, and then into Act 2. So that with the NaNoWriMo, this is why I'm up here at the desk. This is where I'll be spending the next month and a half, right? Other than work and family stuff. November's a busy time, right? For most of us, it's Thanksgiving, following up right on the heels of Halloween. And then only I think 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, we're at Christmas. So all of that. But I guess there's always going to be stuff going on. So I decided to give it a shot and see what happens. Other than Preptober, yesterday I was out. Had some errands to run and stopped in a charity shop. The hardbacks were 75 cents and the paperbacks were 50. There wasn't a ton there, but I did pick up a few things. This is Patrick Rothfuss, The Slow Regard of Silent Things. Got these illustrations. See if I can get the one here this way. So, I have read The Name of the Wind. I have not read The Wise Man's Fear, which are both in the Kingkiller Chronicles. The illustration in this is by Nat Taylor. It's a Daw book. It's like the 6th printing or something, 2014. So let's see here. Deep below the universe is a dark place. Few people know of it. A broken web of ancient passageways and abandoned rooms. A young woman lives there, tucked among the sprawling tunnels of the Underthing, snug in the heart of this forgotten place. Her name is Ari, and she is full of mysteries. So those of you who read the first novel will know her. And I enjoyed the first novel very much. Don't know why I've never gotten to the second one. But I will read this and enjoy it, I hope. So the next one I got, this was sort of nice. I always watch for these Bean books. So this is Mercedes Lackey, Dragon's Teeth. The little blurb by Stephen King there. It's a collection of short stories. They're science fiction and fantasy short stories. 2 books are in here that are had originally been published separately as collections. One's Fiddler's Fair and one's Were Hunter. And then there's a section, part 2, of stuff that hadn't been published. So I like these types of collections. I like Mercedes Lackey. So we'll have to see. I don't know if I've read a ton of her short stuff, though. Used to be in the early days of my science fiction reading, mostly what I read, because you get the digest-sized magazines. Then this next one, anything to do with Jacques Cousteau, I'm on board for it. This is a National Geographic book. It's by his son, Jean-Michel Cousteau. And it's My Father the Captain, My Life with Jacques Cousteau. And written with Daniel Paisner. And let's see, it was originally published in French. But you see, I know they have a little section of photos. There's a famous ship, Calypso. And there's Jacques Cousteau. So very excited to find this. And then finally, sort of an oddball of the books part volume. This is called Cult Fiction, a Reader's Guide. Sort of picked this up on a real whim because usually not my sort of thing, but then I started looking through a list of writers and I couldn't quite understand why or what the criteria to be a cult fiction writer was. So yeah, here's a list of some of the names if you interest you. So that was it on books. I did get some CDs. These things are usually a quarter. Great shape. The first one I got was Sir Charles Grove's An Englishman, celebration of Elgar, Britten, Vaughan Williams, and Tippett, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra. I listened to this one last night when I got home. Quite nice. Let's see what the glare. There's just never aware. The glare actually seems to be coming from the computer on this one, so, or from the tablet. Then I got Garrett the Leader with Richard Good and Don Upshot. Schumann, Schubert, Wolf, and Mozart. Big John Upsaw fan. I first heard her when Heinrich Gorecki's famous album, what is it, Symphony of Sorrowful Songs or something like that, came out years and years ago. Just love her voice. And speaking of Tippett, we have, this is a Nimbus record. Tippett Choral Works, Crown of the Year, Christchurch Cathedral Choir, Stephen Darlington. So there's Sir Michael there. Then, I can hardly see this one. This one is Christian Zimmerman, Claude Debussy Preludes. One of those little double sets. So here, I can put this up so you can see it. So, for a couple dollars, you get a pile of pretty good music, and then really a few dollars more. This is the most inverted stack ever made on BookTube. Not a bad little day. We are into a bookcase crisis here at the house. Jason Harrigan over at the Byways and Bookland has chastised. I know he must have like secret information, because I feel like it's directed at me. I've got piles of books everywhere, and he was explaining why that's not good for the books, and he's absolutely right. I tend to get inundated with these things, and I need to get some more bookcases or build some. So maybe a good winter project. Me out using the chop saw in the winter would be real fun. So other than that, I'm reading this, just sections of it, as I work on this Preptober. I'm rereading the section on world building. This is by Orson Scott Card, a very famous book. Trying desperately to catch up on my comic book reading. I have a pull list over at Newberry Comics in West Lebanon, New Hampshire. So I've got sort of my must-read pile right here. It's got the 100-page Batman Giant #1 right there. I've not gotten to that. None of these. I've gotten to none of these. Age of Conan Valeria #3. Savage Avengers. What number are we on there? #6. Savage Sword of Conan #10. I haven't gotten to that. Red Sonja #9. I haven't gotten to that. This is a one-shot Savage Tales featuring Red Sonja. It's sort of a Halloween thing. Vampirilla #4. I was there when it first came out. This is an off one they put in by accident. I would not have purchased this. Red Sonja and Vampirilla meet Betty and Veronica. I have absolutely no interest in that. Vampirilla and Red Sonja, #1. #2. Then I have these Red Sonja, Birth of the She-Devil, #1. #2. #3. Look at that guy's noggin. Oh. And #4. So that's all stuff I gotta catch up on. And then the back stock of stuff I haven't read, because most of them are these True Believers. So here's just a Marvel, one of those free things where you update you on what's coming out. So there are a lot of these True Believers. I get them for like 89 cents because I have a pull list, but they're marked at $1. So some of these are, well, they're all famous old editions, just reprinted. So you have a Web of Spider-Man. You have the Amazing Spider-Man, Chameleon Strikes, a monster called Morbius, the Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man versus Hulk, Amazing Spider-Man and Mysterio, the new Spider-Man, there's another Amazing Spider-Man, and again, and then Absolute Carnage, Savage Rebirth. So they did a new Absolute Carnage run. That's what happens with all these true believers. If they've got a new run of something coming up, or even a new, use of the character or whatever, they'll do these. Not as much into these. I grabbed them because, again, they don't cost much. They just did a bunch of X-Men stuff and Hulk. They had done earlier when the 3 series, Age of Conan, Savage Sword of Conan, and Conan the Barbarian, when those were relaunched, when Marvel got the rights back. So yeah, that was an Avengers, and here's another Avengers. I guess it was Avengers that was the relaunch. But Conan, a lot of the old Conans were made True Believers editions. I have a lot of the old full-size Conan magazines. That's what a lot of these up here are. They're all boarded and in plastic now because they are old. A lot of Thanos stuff was out. Oh yeah, here's X-Men. So this is the Uncanny X-Men. And another Uncanny X-Men. So yeah, I've got to get all this stuff read. It piles up on you a little bit. The True Believers can sit there for a while if they have to, but I like to keep up with these series over here, especially the Robert E. Howard stuff, the Red Sonja, the Conan, the Valeria, the Vampirilla I just got because of nostalgia. I don't know if I'll keep up with that or not. But most of everything for the next month is going to be making an attempt at the writing, so we'll have to see how it goes. And I'll need to figure out something about bookcases so I can get these books out of piles everywhere. I have bookcases everywhere too. It's just that I have too many books. So, and speaking of too many books, I'm going to probably try to get in a shelf tour today. So we'll see what happens with that. And I have to get in some reading for Victober. I'm still on the first book, the John Ruskin Stones of Venice. I was going to do 2 books for Victober, but I'd like to at least make sure I finish the Ruskin book. It's a wonderful book. It's just with everything else trying to get it done. So yeah, that's about what's going on here on a Monday morning. I'll get back to my coffee and get back to the typewriter and see what we can do with this story. And let me know what you're doing. And have a good week. Thank you, BookTube.